Yes, g'day. Welcome once again to Premier League Overtime. Sam Tugwell here, Dale Fletcher alongside me. We're going to get set to preview the upcoming rounds. A lot of basketball coming up. G'day to you, Dale.
Hey, mate. How's things?
Fantastic. How are you?
Not too bad.
That's good.
Too much chocolate?
Yeah, well, a little bit too chocolate.
Too much chocolate.
Over Easter. Hope you all had a great Easter break, of course. I think we're all a bit hungover on chocolate, but we have to work it off as we look forward to some more basketball because there's a lot coming up over the next 7 days. 3 rounds worth, but we're going to look at the first 2 that are coming up on Saturday and Tuesday. That's rounds 3 and 4. Otherwise, we'll probably get a little bit overloaded with basketball. We can't really look that far into the future with 2 games in our way.
Too many permutations.
So let's look at round 3 to start off. And the Eastern Mavericks take on the Forestville Eagles. This is on Saturday night up at Mount Barker. And look, this is going to be a Halls Medal showdown in your opinion.
Yes, our Halls Medal showdown. Your girl Olivia Thompson against my girl Alex Wilson. So probably whoever scores more, that team will win, pretty much. So, but I think the Eagles will win, even though with too much firepower, and probably Thompson and Wilson might even match up on each other. So maybe they should just play 1-on-1 and just let the crowd have what they want.
A little bit like the Patrick Dangerfield Nat Fyfe matchup years ago. Everyone was more worried about the matchup than they were about the game.
That's
so
right.
Perhaps that'll happen again here in this one. The men's game, though, the Eagles are a very, very tough side this year, and the Mavericks probably aren't as strong, so it could be a one-way game.
Could be a one-way game. Well, my big 3 should fire, and fire pretty big. Majuk Denning, I don't think the Mavs have a matchup for him, and I need Michael Hunley, the import for the Mavs. He's got to step up. He's been a little bit lean the first couple of games, so Mavs need him to fire for them to be any chance.
Sabres and North Adelaide. This is a pretty good matchup in both forms. Let's take a look at the women's first. You've given this one match of the round. I like it.
Yeah, I have. Match of the double header of the round, I think. Sarah Ellsworthy, little side story. She comes back, plays against her old team. That didn't go well for the Mackay sisters in the last matchup. So North will be pretty keen to knock their former teammate off. But I think the Sabres probably have more tools to get the job done against North, especially being at home as well. So Sturt will have another close game, but they'll get the win, I think, in this one.
Men's also match of the round, you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon match of the round. I think the Sabres, after that horror against the Eagles in the men's last round, they'll bounce back pretty well. When they played at Pasadena pretty good against the Tigers in round 1. So there's a little note here. I don't know, Johnny Wernham won't be playing because I just saw on Facebook that he's flying to America, so I don't think he'll be flying back anytime soon. So that could cause an upset, but I don't think it will. I think Miller and Starling will probably combine for about 60-odd points, and Rockets should win in a close one.
That'll be a very, very big occasion if they can put on some big points like that. Let's take a look at the Woodville versus South Adelaide matchup. 2 sides, I guess, in the women's that you just don't know which way they're going to go. So this could be an interesting matchup.
Could be, but if the Warriors they're desperate to play finals this year, and this is a game they simply can't drop. The Panthers, they got smashed last round by the Tigers, so they'll be out with a point to prove. But I think Woodville back at home, this is just a game they cannot lose and shouldn't.
Yep. And then the men's, look, we all know Ian Davis is one of the big men in the competition. I am in love with this man, and you'll hear all about it in round 4 when we're live streaming their game. He could be very tough to stop here for the Warriors.
It will be very tough to stop. I think might be a big shootout between Ian Davis and Darren Ing. That'll be something for the crowd to get along and see. But the Warriors front court for mine, Sam, just too big and too strong for the Panthers. Unfortunately for South, but should be another close one. But if Mr. Davis goes for 40 again, anything can happen.
Watch out there if you're tuning into that one. Central District's taking on the Southern Tigers. This is out north. And if you want to make the trip, definitely do, because especially if you're a Tigers fan, because I think it could be a pretty entertaining night for them. Because the women's and men's sides are probably in tip-top shape this year and probably don't look like losing too many games.
No, they don't. They shouldn't lose any games out at Starplex on Saturday night. You expect the women's team, the Tigers, to have another cricket score against the Lions, unfortunately, but not a good percentage booster for Southern you'd expect. And in the men's game, it'll be close to what a lot of people think. Tigers bounce back against South, but it could be a very interesting matchup there. It's the longest road trip in the competition.
Yeah, well, it certainly is.
For all the geography teachers out there.
I think it's the Safari Cup. I'm pretty sure that's
right.
still a thing. So they'll be playing for that once again. And of course, Norwood taking on West Adelaide. Look, this is a very good matchup because the Flames have sort of definitely gone downhill. And the Bearcats probably haven't gone up either, but I don't think they've gone down as such. So, look, especially in the women's, this is the grand final rematch. So this will be very entertaining.
Yes, rematch too. I don't like the word replay. It's a rematch.
I don't like replay either.
The teams are totally different. But Jess Good's always a thorn for the Bearcats. She was in the grand final, and I think the Bearcats, well, they'll definitely have to stop her to be any chance of winning. But if the Bearcats do win, I think it might be all over for the Flames.
Yeah, right. Wow, very early.
Hawthorn style.
Jeez, 0 and Hawthorn. No, I don't think so for Norwood. I mean, very, very early days. But I know they've taken on some good teams. But this one, it'll be a very big dent in the start of their season for sure. I wouldn't like to write them off, but yeah, we
did
definitely
because they're not in our top 5.
Well, there you go. Well, I guess
go back on the footage.
That's a very fair point. We probably should mention that. And the men's game as well. Look, you think West Adelaide will probably get punished in this one?
Yeah, unfortunately, the Bearcats are going to run into a Flames side breathing fire, pardon the pun. 0 and 2, they need to win. They have to win. Norwood 0 and 3. That's a long road to get back from, even though they would have played 3 of the bigger sides. But no, the Flames will be breathing fire, and I fear for my Bearcats. Let's hope they can pull out something. But I don't think the Bearcats have a matchup for my man Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders.
I think he's going to have a big one.
Jarrell Sanders, of course, we're talking about, not the man who makes chicken. He won't be out there on the night, unfortunately, taking signatures. This Anzac Day is round 4, so that was all the round 3 previews, but we're going to push forward to round 4. We're not going to quite go into as much depth, but the fact that these teams have to front up about 2.5 days later from their last game, this will be very tough indeed. How do you think you'll see teams coming out of the Saturday into the Tuesday? Because that's a very tough ask.
Yeah, well, it pretty much we'll find out by the end of Tuesday night what teams are fair income and what teams are just making up the numbers. Because the preparation between Saturday night and the Tuesday afternoon game, it's a quick turnaround, and in this semi-professional league, people still be working and stuff like that. We'll see the better teams rise to the top on Anzac Day for sure.
All right, well, let's just maybe we'll get some tips on these ones rather than going too in depth. The women's, North Adelaide and the Eastern Rockets. Look, North Adelaide are pretty strong.
Yeah, North should be too good at home for the Mavs, unless Alex Wilson scores 40 again.
I might not have to even ask you about the men's game, but I think North Adelaide should clean that one up.
Yeah, they should. They should win and win well.
And the Southern Tigers take on the Woodville Warriors. Big game.
Yeah, match of the round, I think, for the women. Both teams should be coming off pretty confidence-building wins on the Saturday night. So it's one of these games that will shape the 5, especially early on with all the points differential and stuff like that. So this is a pretty key game for the women, and the winner will go a long way to probably a double chance.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, I like that. Men's as well. There are a lot of big names playing this game. A bit of a 36ers new versus old.
Yeah, that's right. The 36ers new versus old is Darren Ing versus Anthony Drimick, 2 hot shooters. I think whoever catches fire the most, that team will win. That's another toss of the coin too, and another top 5 shaping game. So Southern maybe just because it's at Morford Vale.
I like it very much. All right, the women and the men's. Let's get your tips on these. West Adelaide versus Sturt.
Yeah, I think Bearcats are all. It goes without saying, if they win on Saturday, they'll go in Tuesday as favourites. If they lose, they'll have their backs against the wall. But I think Sturt will be just running along like a pretty well-oiled machine, and will just pip the Bearcats and the women.
And the Forestville and Central. Sorry, did we get to the men's? We didn't.
No.
This is going to be a very, very, very big game. Western Sturt and the men's. You get a really nice matchup in this one across the whole court.
You do. Sturt seemed to have struggled against the Bearcats recently. I know last season, even with Daniel Johnson playing for Sturt, Bearcats kept him scoreless and won by about 15 or 20. So it's just something to do with the matchups that West have stood its measure at the moment. And I think after what may happen on Saturday night, they'll need a win and a win badly. So I think it's the match of the round on Anzac Day in the men's, Western Sturt, and I think the Bearcats just by about that much.
Oh, geez, no bias in that. I swear, we're telling you right now.
No, I would say that much.
Wayville Stadium, the Forestville Eagles taking on the Central District. So I can finally get to this one. This could be a very tough night for the Lions, men's and women's wise.
Yeah, yes. You think the Eagles should be too strong in both games, and it could be a long night could be a long 2 nights for Centrals, unfortunately.
Sadly, they're playing some very strong sides this week. And this game, which is going to be live on Austral Sports and on the Premier League Facebook page, it will be the Norwood Flames and the South Adelaide Panthers. Men's and women's, of course, from Campbelltown, the Arc, the new stadium. This is going to be a great one, especially for the women's. Look, it could be a very close game, but especially if they lose on Saturday too. Yes,
well, if Norwood lose to West on Saturday for the girls, they will be they'll be still. Well, they wouldn't have lost 2 games in a row probably since 1990 something.
Probably most likely.
So I wouldn't like to be the Panthers women if the Flames lose on Saturday night, but Norwood should win and win well in the women's. It's Tiona Campbell, the import for South. She needs some help from her teammates, especially on the offensive end. But I think Norwood should win the women's game.
And then, of course, the men's game. This is, I guess, our Woolcott Medal showdown, if you like, between my man Ian Davis and your man Jarrell, the Colonel Sanders. I'd really love to. I'm looking forward to this men's game mostly because it's just a lot of firepower in 2 teams that are seriously looking to play finals this year. And the Panthers haven't been strong the last few years, but they are pushing hard this year. They want to play. And especially losing to Southern last week, or 2 weeks ago now, they will be biting at the bit to want to try and win here at the Arc. So how do you see that one playing out?
Yeah, well, the Davis won't actually match up against Sanders, unfortunately, but Ahmed Starks will match up on Davis, and that's worth admission alone. But I think the Panthers could cause an upset here. It all depends. The Flames, they could be 0-3, hopefully if the Bearcats win. But I think Norwood should win Saturday and should win Tuesday, even though your man Davis may even get 3 votes and score 40 points. But I think the Flames have, especially with the Weber brothers and Matty Lysett back, and Starks and Sanders, too much firepower, I think, for the Panthers. Oh, geez, who knows? Yeah, who knows? I'm going to go Norwood.
Okay, you're going to go Norwood. Well, there you go. Well, let's find out. As you tune in live on Tuesday, on Anzac Day, of course, you will find out there who gets up in the men's and women's game, of course. South Adelaide and Norwood. That's going to be a cracking game, and as are the rest of the rounds 3 and 4's matches. So make sure you get out to those games. And I'll tell you what, if you don't, you're missing out on quite a lot of talent, because there's some great basketball coming your way early in the season for the Premier League in 2017. I think that's just about done for us, wrapping up overtime for today. A lot of basketball to go. Looking forward to seeing you out to a game.
Yeah, I'll be there Anzac Day out of Port Adelaide, so it should be a good game. But get out and support the basketball, because there's some mouth-watering games over the next few rounds. So go out and have a look.
All right, mate. That sounds fantastic to me. Look forward to seeing you out there, of course, on the day and night, if you like. Okay, thank you very much for joining us here on Overtime. We'll catch you another time very soon, and of course live on Tuesday afternoon out at the Arc for the Norwood Flames and the South Adelaide Panthers. Bye for now.